Alright folks, today I'm going to be talking about how I did my redstone wave system that I posted about like a week ago. For those of you who have not seen that yet, it's going to look something like this. It's just a pretty simple way to go in, add some redstone underneath your beach, and you can add some pretty easy waves to your beach. It looks pretty good in my opinion, and I'm sure some of you out there can make a better way to do this where it looks even better. So this is the machine actually out of the ground. I'm going to be splitting this video up kind of into two parts looking at this. I'm going to have the first part where I'm kind of going over the main concepts I have going here, and this is going to be a little more focused on the smart redstone folks out there who might be interested in maybe making a better design, because to be honest, I am not the best redstone user, so this is going to be a bit more focused on you guys being able to make a better version of what I did. Then once we've gone over that, we're going to have the second section to the video, and it's going to be a much more block by block run through of how to build this, that being my design, and it's going to be having some customization tips for you guys in there to how to expand this or shrink this to fit your beach. Taking a look at this, we've got it kind of split into two sections. This is the signal generator section over here. It's what's actually making my wave signal that gets carried across into this part, which is the part actually making the waves. So down here at the signal generator, we start off with a pretty basic redstone clock running here. These middle repeaters are all being observed. Now I've got two observers on each section of this, and each one is going to be going into a toggle flip-flop. Now, since there are two observers both going into one toggle flip-flop, that means that when this signal comes down the line on the one side, it's going to be able to turn all of these on, but then as it goes down the other side, it's going to hit these other observers and it's going to turn them all right back off again, but in the opposite direction. So what you end up with is this perfect wave that is going to come across these comparators and then right back again. Once you've got through the signal generator, it's going to just carry across into actually making the waves. And what this is just a absolute truckload of repeaters carrying the signal down. As you can see, it makes a little wave shape. And all of those are once again going to be observed. This time, the observers are all running into a dispenser with a water bucket in it. And then that is going to be pushing the water out through these slabs. And this is what's actually going to be making up your beach. And as you can see, this is going to be turning those signals into an actual wave of water that extends across the beach. And as you can see over here in my demonstration, if you just hook this up to your ocean or lake or whatever you're building with, then you get a pretty convincing wave that is going to be running across your beach. And if you looked at the short, then you can actually tell if you make this a longer beach, then you'll actually get a bunch more of these waves at once. It's not just going to be one wave, but you'll actually have several waves that will be rolling down the beach at once. Alright, so now that we've kind of looked at how this build works, I'm going to be showing you block by block how to actually make this design. Alright, so starting out, we are going to just make the redstone clock. So that's going to be two pieces of redstone with one lever, and then you're going to get repeaters, and you're going to run 6 of them in a line on one side. Then you're going to get more redstone dust, and run the exact same thing in the opposite direction. If you want to make this on an actual beach, you are going to be putting this dig 6 blocks down from where you want those slabs to be that make up your beach. And then you can start building this, once again, that is 6 blocks below the surface. Take observers, and you're going to put these on top of all of the middle repeaters. Do not put observers over the ones on the end. Make sure all of your observers are facing up. That means the red dot is facing upwards, and that is what is actually sending out the power. These repeaters on the end that do not have observers, what you're going to do is click them 3 times, right-clicking, and that is going to set them to be the longest delay that they can be. That's going to keep your signal from being on both sides of this loop at once when it hits the end, and that would just throw this whole thing off. Get some droppers, and you're going to stand on one edge of this and put them facing towards you. Now, when you're building this, this whole thing is going to be at one end of the beach. So for me, my beach is going to be extending out this direction. So I need to make sure that these first 4 droppers are all facing in that direction. Then we're going to stand up here and we're going to put some more droppers facing upwards with these running into them. Stand on top of the original droppers and put some facing the opposite direction. Now we've got kind of a 3-way series here, making most of a loop. Finish off the loop, just get some hoppers and run them right back down into those original droppers. That is most of something called a toggle flip-flop, which I'll explain in a second, but first, we need to put some blocks inside of them. I am going to be using sand because I'm sure you would have a lot of this whenever you're putting this in a beach from mining that big hole. So you're just going to drop 1 piece of sand into every one of these hoppers. Make sure only 1 goes in each hopper, because if you put multiple in the same hopper, it's gonna throw things off. Next up, grab something. I'm using slabs because they would be cheaper, but you can use full blocks for this. Just make a platform extending out from your observers. Now that we've done that, you can get some comparators out, and you're just going to run 1 out from the bottom of each of these droppers. And that right there is a completed toggle flip-flop. What this does is you've got 1 item in one of the droppers. Whenever you power this thing, it's going to send it across to a different dropper. Power it again, it's going to send it right back. So what this one's doing, these comparators here, they're checking if it's in this dropper right here. If we power it, it will go in and these will turn on. If we put power in this again, it's going to turn back off and it's going to be somewhere else, which means these are off. So how this works is it takes a short signal like you get from an observer and it turns it into a state of either on or off. And it just takes a short little burst of power and it switches between being on and off. So this clock down here, it's going to be running in a loop. The signal is going to run down here, turning all of these flip-flops on because of these observers right here. Then it's going to run right back again, and it's going to use these observers to turn it all back off again. And what you'll end up with is a wave of power that comes on this side, goes out, and then right back again. Out, and then back again. And that is what we're going to use to make our waves. From that, get some repeaters, and you're just going to cover your whole platform in repeaters. Now that we've done that, we can get some more observers, stand up on top of our T flip-flops, and then we're going to put them, once again, making sure that they are facing down with the red dot up. Hop on over and cover your whole platform in observers like this. Now that we've done that, it's the not very fun part of putting dispensers on all of this. Now what I've done since I'm doing this in creative mode is all of these dispensers are already going to have a water bucket in it. As you can see, I'm holding dispensers containing water buckets. That's a pretty helpful little thing. If you do control scroll wheel, that is going to select the block you're looking at, including the things that are inside of it. If you're doing this in survival mode, you will have to put a water bucket inside each and every one of these dispensers by hand. You're going to cover your entire platform once again in dispensers, making sure they are all facing upwards. Once you've done that, get out some slabs. They do have to be slabs this time. Crouch and start putting slabs over all of it. Now that you've done that, that is going to be the basics of how to do this whole redstone thing. I'm going to grab some other blocks here. I think I'll take some regular sandstone. And I'm just going to run a rim around this just so that the water doesn't pour out the sides. If you're doing this on an actual beach, you'll be putting sand around the edge of this, where on the side where the beach is, and on the edge that is going to be going into the ocean where the waves are coming from, you're going to put some just water and make sure there's only water on one edge of this. Like if I turned this edge into water of my ocean, that's fine. But if I put any blocks here where it rounds the corner and it's still water, that is going to waterlog all of these slabs and it is going to ruin the whole thing. So make sure when you install this, there are solid blocks all the way on 3 edges. And that is the whole thing. If we come down here, we can just double click that lever real quick. And that is going to get us a wave system that is going to run down the edge. There we go. Got a little glitch going on right here. That does happen sometimes. It would appear that these just are out of sync from the others. That's a pretty easy fix if you get something like that. You're going to come down to the side that does not have a lever, and you're going to just break one of those redstone. Going to stop the signal when it comes down, and then that is going to make this all be the same thing. If it's all off, then it shouldn't have any water. As you can see, mine does. Going to take a look inside these dispensers. Yep, they do indeed have empty buckets, and that means something is backwards. Oop, look right here. We got this one has a full water bucket in it. That is a problem. Just these two right here and here. So these two both have full water buckets. This one has one, this one has one, this does not, and this does not. So these two are both good. This is just how you come in and fix it. You're going to just take a look and see which ones have a full bucket even though there's water above it. That means that there should be an empty bucket, but clearly something got off. What you're going to do is you're just going to come in and you're going to replace it with a whole bunch of empty buckets. Once you've done that, you should be good to just cover them up with slabs again. Come right back down here. Go ahead and fix that redstone you broke earlier. And then hit that lever twice again, and it should be running better now. Yes, as you can see, I've got some waves going, and there are no extra bits of water anywhere. So that's it for the tutorial on making this thing. Next up, I'm just going to be talking about a few ways you can customize this to fit your beach, and some tips on putting this thing in on a real build instead of just building it out here in the open. The last thing I have for you guys is a couple of warnings whenever you're making this. First off, this thing is very persnickety. It's very likely that you will end up with water where there's not supposed to be water, and it's just a whole mess. I would recommend when you do that, like I showed you earlier, just take away some of these slabs and check the dispensers, making sure that they have an empty water bucket if there's water above them, and a full water bucket when there's no water above them. If you ever see an inconsistency in that, then that is something that's wrong and you can go in and fix it. Another problematic thing, one edge of this is going to be the ocean. That's totally fine. It's totally chill with that. If you try to take any blocks on the edge here, like maybe you try to make this be more rounded, it's going to waterlog all of these, because slabs will waterlog. If there's water on 2 sides of a slab, it will fill with water, whether you dispense water into it or not. So be very, very careful about putting any water on these sides that are not the main ocean side, because that will mess up this whole thing. Lastly, getting your depth right is important. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Make sure this is where the sand would be. I'm going to replace it with slabs, so I need to dig down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and then I can start making this clock. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks that you need to dig down before you can start making this clock. And then that top block layer you're going to be replacing with slabs so that the water can dispense through it. Now, there are some things about this build that I haven't really showed you guys yet. Just like a few other Buildstone builds out there, fans, this isn't the quietest build. Also, I have been showing y'all this with particles off because the dispensers do make it look like the beach is on fire. So I'm gonna show y'all that with the settings all set to normal, and I'll be back in 1 second. This is what the beach looks like with full volume and particles turned on. It's a pretty easy fix, in my opinion, to just turn off your particles, but the sound-wise, just maybe stay away from it, just like some of these other Buildstone builds out there. Well, folks, that's about it for today. If you have any questions, anything I made unclear in this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Other than that, I'm looking at starting a series where I play through all of the absolutely insane April Fool's updates Minecraft has released. I know that they're really weird, really fun, and I'm really looking forward to playing through them all. In any case, that's it for today. See ya.